Get ready to be amazed. Get ready to know things that nobody could know. Get ready for Transformational Tuesday with America's original radio psychic, Dr. Linda Salvin, with products, solutions, and supplements for nutrition, physical activity, and the latest thinking on lowering the risks of disease and improving your health and well-being. For nearly 30 years as a syndicated talk show host, trained epidemiologist, and metaphysical clinician, Dr. Linda has helped thousands of people worldwide solve problems on the air and in person with her insights and solutions. So pull up a chair, turn it up, and get ready for a visit with the one and only Dr. Linda. And now, live from Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Linda Salvin.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's another Tuesday show on health, wellness, and improving your whole being, mentally, physically, emotionally. You know, most of us, not all of us, but many of us don't like to exercise. We're lazy. We make every excuse in the world not to do something, especially if it means competing with the little gym rats and the little tiny bodies and the cute little clothes in a gym. Or sometimes it's more of a meat market than it is a training environment. Or if you're like me, I get hurt a lot. I pull muscles and then I have a pinched nerve. So one day I'm in the gym with the trainer. The next day I'm at a chiropractor to fix what is out of alignment. And then I'm back in the gym. Then I'm back at the chiropractor. And for some reason, my body just gets out of alignment, even if I'm in, quote, proper position of the machine or working with somebody. And I feel great. I feel energized. My emotions are high and the serotonin's flowing, like the dopamine fix. And that's the beauty of exercise. But like on some of the shows we talk about, exercise can also be an addiction where you overcompensate and overwork your body because you got to stay thin and burn that fat. And then it becomes more of an obsessiveness as opposed to a healthiness. So today we're going to be talking about an amazing way to exercise that I absolutely love, and it's with the B3 bands. I've been using them for about a year. What is this? It goes around the arm. I have another one that's larger that goes around the thigh. These are called B3 bands. And what they do is they stimulate the human growth hormones. So in 10, 20 minutes a day, I can get the same kind of workout from my body that might take an hour at the gym. But I don't want to describe it myself. I'm going to bring the inventor, the owner, and the creator of the B3 band movement, Dr. Mike. He's here with us. DeBoard, hi, how are you? Let's bring him on. Hi.
Dr. Linda, great to be here.
Bands on. I didn't even put them on. I was just going to show them for display. But I love them. I'm not the greatest exerciser. I took these when I was working out at a specific gym, and it doubled my endurance, and I could feel the burn. And but I had to literally get my chiropractor to write a letter because I was getting hurt out of alignment. And you, as a chiropractor, experience that. Some people just don't stay in alignment, and it's easier for me to work walking or working out to some of your videos online where I know I'm more in control as opposed to some people that need the gym. Everybody's got their thing. You can swim in these, golf, walk, train, use bands, take it over, start talking about how you develop this, talk about your chiropractic background, your love of people, nutrition, and how all this happened for people.
Well, thanks for having me here. I'm excited to share this. This is what I've been doing for the last 4 years is, we found this new technology in Japan. Let me just give you the quick story. Dr. Jim Stray-Gunderson, he's, I give credit to him. He's one of the pioneers that found this in Japan in the World Championship games. Dr. Jim's one of the top Olympic trainers in the world. Their athletes were doing it, and they were kicking our butt in certain sports. And he studied under this Dr. Sato and brought it over to the United States. It was very expensive. It was very cumbersome, but it worked in Japan. Well, we brought it here, and I bought one of the very first units. Now, let me tell you, I'm like a lot of your callers. I was 52, and every time I'd work out, there was an ice pack or an ibuprofen.
Like I was just saying.
Or a chiropractor involved every time. And I'm 52, and for 15 years, I haven't seen my six-pack, and I'm freaking obsessed with the six-pack.
Yeah.
Right? Got to get – and my muscle, I'm losing my arms, and I feel 52, right? So he calls me and says, Mike, I know I know you're beat up. I know it hurts. And I know you know, what if in 5, 10, 15 minutes doing light weights? I said, Jim, man, heck, I'll try anything. He comes over, puts these bands on my arms. So he slides these bands up my arms. Okay. And then he hooks up this little manual pump, and he just hooks it up, and we put a little air in it. And you see how easy this is. I got it on, put a little air in it. And he says, Mike, we're not going to, this blood flow that's going right here, we're just going to slow it down. We're not going to cut it off. It's not a blood pressure cuff. It's not going to cause clots. It's safe. We're just going to take this flow and slow it down. Now, why would you want to slow down your blood flow, everyone? Because the blood flow is carrying in the oxygen, which is the primary fuel. Why is that important? Well, if you're going to exercise and change your body, you got to use oxygen faster than it's flowing. Give me an example. You go for a walk. How far can you walk? Forever. How many people have ever walked themselves to a 6-pack and muscles and tone?
You don't hear of that.
Doesn't happen.
No.
Right? But what happens if you run the stadium stairs? Oh, now you're going to feel it. You're going to feel the burn because you're using more oxygen than's flowing. Everybody look at my hands. We want to use more oxygen than's flowing. This is hard work. This is called high intensity exercise. You got to slam the weights. You got to do the CrossFit, right? You got to buy one of those Pelotons or do vigorous hard exercise. And you know who does those? The 25-year-old models on TV. That's who does that. You never see a 60-year-old guy on TV, right? With 3 joints replaced and a bad like me, right? Climbing the Peloton and fall. Can't do that, right? So he says, Mike, we're just going to slow down the blood flow. So I put the bands on, and he hands me these little 3-pound pink dumbbells I got sitting in my corner. I'm like, come on, dude, really? You're kidding me, right? I said, Jim, I can curl 30s and 40s. He said, 3 pounds all you need. I'm like, okay, right. So I start curling them like this, water bottle type exercises, right? Little water bottles. And because the bands have slowed down the blood flow, I have less oxygen. So now I'm exercising at maybe a 6 intensity. Normally I have to go to 11. I'm exercising at a 6. And my muscles are getting all pumped up. And I look at them, I'm like,
I'm tired.
What in the world did you just do to me? And I do 2-3 sets, and I'm like in the mirror flexing, like, and then I move my shoulder, and my shoulder doesn't hurt.
Thanks,
Okay. So number one, when you create hypoxia, you use more oxygen flow. It's like running the stadium stairs, but with the bands, it's half the work. It's easy. Your body releases nitric oxide and endorphins. That's that runner's high. Things stop hurting. You feel like you could run through a wall. It's that buzz, the serotonin, and the endorphins you get. It's easy with the bands. You get it in like 30 seconds, you're already in it. And then if you keep going, see, here's what the muscle and the bodybuilders
stop right
do.
there. Let me interrupt you, because I want the listeners who will see this later, and then anybody who's out there now, if you want to pop up, say hello, join the chat, say hi to Dr. Mike and Dr. Me. I'm Dr. Linda Salvin, the host of the show. When you talk about you can go forever, I have this new sensation. I don't know what else to call it. But I'll go for a 20-minute walk. I'll go through this gorgeous neighborhood, or down the street, there's a park. I walk, 3 blocks to the park. And within 20 minutes, I've done a lot. But I come back and I'm like, I feel like I did something with just the bands on. Then the beautiful part, which is where you're leading to, which I want you to include in this, is once they're off, or if I'm working at my desk, or when I relax on my bed at night, I'm still pumped up, and then I could almost feel like maybe my butt's a little tighter, maybe my arms are a little tighter. But the thing is, I'm like excited. I want more. I could almost feel it working without the bands. There's something different than just going to the gym and coming out, oh, I'm exhausted. It's not that. There's exhilaration here that I want more. Is that because of the HGH? Is it because of the oxygen? What's going on in our bodies that create this?
When you use more oxygen in flowing, or you go into hypoxia, the first thing happens is you get nitric oxide. Then you start to feel the lactic acid. Everybody knows what the lactic acid is. You're jogging and you sprint, there's lactic acid. You run up the stairs, there's lactic acid. You're doing light weights.
That's the burn you're looking for, right?
You're looking for the burn. Once you get into the burn, you're going anaerobic. You're actually getting into the muscle glycogen, which is where the growth hormone happens. Bottom line, if you produce lactic acid for 2 to 3 minutes, all at once or over 10, 15 minutes, you're going to stimulate growth hormone. Now, let me tell you something. Most of your listeners have never experienced a growth hormone surge unless they've done super high intensity exercise. Some of you have never experienced it in your life. What would happen if you were to take out growth hormone naturally out of your pituitary, take it to a doctor, he'd bioengineer it, give it to you, and you give yourself a little pill or shot every day? God, it probably costs 15, 20 grand a month, but you'd be operating like you're an Olympic level athlete. That's what happens on the bands. Yeah. You're operating on elevated growth hormone, and you go back in time 20, 30 years, and all of a sudden your muscles feel pumped. So Dr. Linda, you later at night, you're 8 hours later, you're like,
I'm still feeling it.
Why does my tush still feel pumped up? Why are my muscles?
Yeah.
Growth hormone. And most people go through their whole life with it. It's sitting here when you're 80, 60, 40, 20. It's sitting there. You just got to go get it. And most people can't go get it. And if you go get it, your whole world's going to be different.
Now, I can attest to that because a friend of mine who's also a doctor turned me onto the bands about 15 months ago. And I was a little lax in getting into it, especially during lockdown. And I thought, well, okay. Then I started watching your videos. And sometimes I'll fast forward because I already got the positions on for the arms and the legs and how many sets I'm doing. And then I watch other people. And I'm like, oh, here's a 6-minute video. I think, oh, this will be easy. But man, I'll get a lot of work done in 6 minutes on my body. But I don't have to get dressed. I don't have to get in the car. Don't have to deal with traffic. Don't have to deal with being nice at the gym. And then I don't have to deal with other people. And then I don't have to worry about getting hurt. 6, 8, 10 minutes later, I depress this. The air comes out. I deflate it. Put it back in my little case, which these cases are gorgeous for travel people. It comes in a very sturdy case. So you just put it in the car. You have a little handle. You take it throughout the house or wherever you are. And all the bands go in here, especially with the pump, and you get a little tube of Vaseline to help lubricate it because sometimes it gets stuck, which I've had that problem where it's a little more difficult to connect. But I played softball in high school. I played tennis in high school, but I've never been the athletic one. I got bored in Pilates. Yoga makes me bored. I don't mind doing down dog and a few others, but I never got that rush of whatever in an hour and a half. This, I get into it. I take my walk. I got fresh air. I'm in, I'm out. And I'm like, wow. So that's why I wanted to have you on the show, because if I like a product, I want the other people that I talk to enjoy a product. So now that you're 4 years into this, you also wrote a little booklet, which I thank you for sending me, that is helping people. I think it's like $75, but it explains the whole theory. It explains all the process. You have testimony after testimony. One of them that I like is there's a married couple. I don't remember their names, but I read it, I think, on the website where they were just walking their dogs.
Yep.
And in 6 weeks, between the two of them, they lost 40 pounds.
Yep.
Something like that, if I remember correctly. So it's not a lot of effort. You're going to take the dog out for a walk anyway. You're going to go out anyway, put the bands on. And yes, I still procrastinate. It's like, well, I did it yesterday. Well, I'll do it again. Self-motivation is the hardest thing to do. Not everybody can just get up and go, But if we make appointments, like if I know I'm going to watch your video, or I knew you were going to be on today, or the other day before it starts raining here in Los Angeles this week, I'll go out a few more times and get it in. Otherwise, I'll do it here at home. But I can feel the burn. Sometimes explain why, if I'm doing the video and you'll say, feel the burn, and you can feel the burn if you're doing your arms. I don't always feel the burn. What am I doing wrong? Is it holding the bands incorrectly? Or is the
remember, here's oxygen flow. Let's call it a 10 is normal, right? Bands are going to bring it down to about a 5 or 6. You still have to exercise a little higher. So if you're not feeling the burn, you're down here. You're exercising at a 4. You need to get to a 6. Okay. So
it's more effort on my part or strength.
2 options, Dr. Linda. Let's just put some more air in and bring the oxygen down a little more.
Oh, so make it a little tighter for my band.
More air.
Gotcha.
Boom, tip the scale. Or start walking uphill or walk with some lunges or wear some ankle weights, either put more air in the band or increase the resistance. Bottom lines, remember, we're flipping the scale.
Gotcha. That makes sense because I couldn't always see it. I couldn't always see it, but I know when I feel it, like I wrote you the other night, I'm excited. And I want people to know it's not like, oh, you just do it for 10 minutes, it's over. The energy, the burn, the metabolism changes and it continues during the day. Don't need coffee, don't need to take anything. You're using your own body for energy. And that's what I love doing health and wellness for, because I'm into mind, body, spirit, as you know. I want to help everybody integrate. You couldn't do anything simpler. Now, you have a lot of competition out there that's a lot less expensive. And I looked at it online, but when I listened to my friend, also a Dr. Linda, and she went down, I think, 8 inches in a month and a half of walking. I mean, something ridiculous. And I got into it. And now I want to distribute it and help other people get into this. But I don't know. I don't believe the other people's products are as effective. And I want people to know that there's a different type of safety built into this, as opposed to just getting something online and here's a book. Yeah. There is personal attention with Dr. Mike's group of the B3 people. I can call one girl who's one of my, I guess, like an upline or whatever, and she'll answer questions anytime I have a question. Dr. Mike's available, obviously. What are you where on the planet are you? I don't even know what country you're in today. Are you in the States?
I'm in Panama right now.
Okay. Okay. I knew you weren't here. But so what's the time zone? If I'm Pacific, what are you, Central right now?
Yeah, Central, 2 hours.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking the time to join us. But once you make it a habit, folks, and 3 times a week even, right? You could go 3 times a week, 20 minutes a day, minimum 10 minutes even, right? You can just get going.
Yeah, just get going. Yep, and you brought up a good point, right? When we launched the bands, we were really the only company doing it. And now, you can buy belts and straps and knockoffs, and they're just that. Here's the key. We want to do blood flow restriction. We want to slow it down, which means we only want to affect the superficial vein. We don't want to go in here and get the artery, right? Blood pressure cuff can cut off blood flow. You buy one of these cheap Amazon bands, and number one,
I didn't want to say it. I wanted you to say it. Okay. Yeah, because I looked at them.
Number 2, imagine working out with a blood pressure cuff on. What would that feel like? You would
stiff,
not
and
like it.
I'd pass out.
Yeah. Well, it's very uncomfortable. And I haven't met anybody who's bought those cheap bands that stays with them unless they're a bodybuilder and they just like pain, because they hurt. This is flexible. The white width. But it has these multiple air chambers in here. Dr. Linda, that's the key, the multiple air chambers. It's comfortable,
but the way it goes around the muscle.
Yeah.
And even though I like it when it's tight, I like taking my pump so I can feel like, oh, it's snug now.
Yeah.
And when I get going, and I'm not doing a brisk walk, folks. I'm not like slow jogging. I'm walking. I take pictures of the crows and the squirrels and the rocks I see. And I'm enjoying being outside before I got to come back and work. But it's helping because I confirm I'm turning 70 in less than 2 months. But I feel like thank you. I look like, well, most of my body is a setup. That's why I got the bands. But thank you. No, but I feel not tension, but I'm starting to feel the molding. Like I'm starting to firm up a little bit again. And my goals for next summer, I finally see I can work toward it. I am one of those types of people, like most. If we don't have a goal, it doesn't get done. Or I'll do it tomorrow, I'll procrastinate. So days go by, weeks go by, a year goes by, oh, you better do the bands. But when I feel right, now I'm into it, and now I've made the commitment, and I want to see some change. And that's the motivation to just, it's not going to happen overnight. Some people might see change in 6 weeks, but this is a great question for Dr. Mike. The bands come in different sizes for heavier people, and they are in different sizes. Why? We can get to that in just a moment, Misty. Thank you for asking. The bands will encourage you to do more. And everybody says, oh, I don't want to pay that much money. Well, that's why I brought up the competitors, because you're getting what you pay for. And there's so much support online. There's so much support in email. There's so much support by phone. You're not going to get that if you go to the big box stores or Amazon.com, because I did research it after I purchased. I wanted to see what else is out there. And you're going to pay a fraction of the price, but you get a fraction of the results. You really do.
And the important thing is, Dr. Linda, is education. Right? It's one thing to have them. You got to know how to use them. I do 2 calls a week live. Right before your call, I was on with 7 ladies showing them how to use the band. So you get coaching when you buy them.
Yes, you do.
You get videos. You get somebody to ask questions. And we invite you to live calls. Nobody does that in the BFR industry. There's only one company that does that. That's my company. So
what does BFR stand for? Blood flow resistance?
Blood flow restriction.
Restriction. Okay.
Right. Just slowing it down. If somebody uses the word occlusion, you immediately know they don't know what they're talking about.
Okay.
Occlusion means cut off. We're not cutting off blood flow.
We're just slowing it down a little, so it stimulates the human growth hormone, which stimulates the muscle growth.
Well, you jumped one step ahead, but you're right. It puts you in a biomechanical advantage. Why? Because the muscle has less oxygen. You still got to do a little work. You got to move, which is not that hard. But you got to move and you got to use some oxygen. But you don't have to climb the stadium stairs. You just got to maybe walk up them nice and easy. You can sit up. You can do a wall sit, everyone. For 2 to 3 minutes, you can sit up against a wall once a day and you'll get the burn in your legs and you'll tighten it. Everything will start tightening up. Just doing a wall sit. We have 4-minute workout videos, 3-minute workout videos, 10 minutes. You can use them on a vibration plate, a row, or an elliptical. They're waterproof. You can get in the water. The key, as you know, doctor, just do something every day and get the burn. You're going to live.
And that eventually will give you some results. Let's go back to the question we had from Misty, who watches my shows. How do they size? I know I've seen at least 3 different sizes for different girths of our arms and our thighs. How does that break down for men and women? Or is it all one size fits all? How does that work?
Well, when you send them to your website, and then we'll make sure they've got the website, when they go in to buy, there'll be a size chart button. And they'll just take a little measurement right here. You can take a piece of string and then lay it on a ruler, a belt, or you can take a measuring tape, and you'll measure right up here high on the thigh also. And you'll go right to the size chart. There's 5 sizes.
So everybody, something will fit somebody all the time. Have you ever had anybody too large for the bands?
No, we've had 400 or 500 pound people that can work. We put the size 5 on their legs.
There was one man that you interviewed that I think this is a perfect example. His wife was the gym rat, loved going to the gym, but he'd work in the basement. And I believe it was during lockdown, and he went down, 95 pounds or something?
Yeah. Yeah, he lost 100 pounds.
100 pounds
in his basement, working out 10 minutes a day, 4 or 5 days a week.
Yeah, he's in his 70s, 60s, 70s. It's not like we're all, this isn't just for the young people. It's for everybody.
Well, think about it. Here's how I kind of explain it. We used to, back in our day, Dr. Linda, I'm 60. I know you're 70. You look awesome.
Thank you.
I tend to think I don't look 60, but I'll take
how you feel.
Any compliment I can get, right? But when we used to fly cross country, we had to stop. In the old days, you couldn't fly all the way across the United States.
That's true.
There was a stop. Then there was a direct flight. So let me ask you, everyone, if you were going to go on Orbitz or Booking.com and you were going to book in New York to LA, would you stop? Well, of course not.
No,
I want to find.
I don't want to waste the time.
There's a new direct flight and exercise. All I can tell you is if you want to exercise the old way and hurt and spend time and go to, have to go to the gym to get results, that's the old way. In 5 years, nobody's going to be doing that anymore. The Olympic teams, the NFL teams, the training rooms, Dr. Mercola, Dr. Oz, Mark Wahlberg, LeBron James, Patrick Mahomes.
They all use the bands.
They've all started doing this because it is a breakthrough. It's not a fad. It's a breakthrough. We've advanced our human technology and learned into a more efficient way to exercise and get growth hormone.
Let me ask you a question. If an Olympic athlete is using them, does the team or the rules think they're cheating like they would with a steroid? Do they see that it's not harming, yet it's not really affecting their workout or their
not creating any. It's not creating any synthetic hormone change in their body.
And that's basically what they look for how they're going to proceed. So if they're even pumping up, they're doing it mostly for their own body, not so much for the win, right?
Yeah, at the Olympic level now, if you're not doing BFR, there's probably a good chance you can't even compete because all the other athletes around the world are doing it. So they're getting a more efficient workout, which means they can work out more often and not be sore. Right. So that's where it got pioneered. Bodie Miller, Michaela Schifrin, Lindsey Vonn, all these athletes had access to this, with Dr. Jim up at Park City, Utah, when he pioneered and brought it here.
And then you got the couch potatoes like us.
Yeah.
That can still get the same effect, even if we're not going for the gold. We go for our own
and
gold.
You know who else I put it on? I put it on my 17-year-old football son who had all the skill in the world, but didn't have the speed. And in 8 weeks, I gave him to his trainer. He did nothing different other than put the bands on and do his same speed training. He went from running 19.4 miles an hour to 21. Went up to Ohio State with 400 kids and was the fastest kid there in 8 weeks, and 10 scholarship offers. Boom. He got
all because of the bands.
All because of the bands. Think about it. What's going to happen when a teenage or a middle school or even elementary school young athlete can fatigue more efficiently and deeper? They will get more results. It's like my son went from training as a high school football player to an Olympic level sprinter.
That's amazing.
Same amount of time, but he's getting a whole different level of workout than the high school kids were getting. And he just, it got him we saved $200,000 on his 4-year education because we put him in the bands for 8 weeks.
Which school did he decide to go to?
He wasn't an Ohio State kid. He's not a 5-star. He got some low Big Ten. He ended up at Bowling Green,
I know Bowling Green. I'm a Wolverine. I went to Michigan for grad school, so I know the
Bowling Green Falcons. He had a blast. He had fun. He got to play. We got a full ride because he was fast enough. And look, if you've got a kid or a lot of your listeners, they've got kids, grandkids. They're not the fastest kid out in the soccer field.
No, but they can strengthen and get better.
Your kid goes from being kind of in the middle of the pack to the fastest. That kind of feels pretty good. And that's what typically happens when you put kids in the bands. And we have a whole coaching program for kids.
Dr. Mike, back up a little bit. How did you get involved with health and wellness and become a chiropractor? What was your motivation when you were younger as to where you were headed in life as far as a career?
Well, had a grandfather and an uncle, and I had some early surgeries from being beat up, and I just, they had a great influence on me. But everybody said, "Go be a chiropractor." I'm like, "Nah, I don't want to do that." And I went to Bowling Green like my son, and I did 6 months. 1/2 of a year of computer programming, and that's all I needed to see.
That wasn't for you.
And I said, okay, now that it's my decision, I think I'll go be a chiropractor. And then I practiced for 18 years. I was specialized in sports. And I was fortunate enough because of the direct selling industry to retire. That then led me to being able to run companies. So I got to cut my teeth on running some network marketing companies with other people that did great. So when the bands came along, I was just ready. It was just the right thing. And look, if you don't like network marketing, that's fine. We have 40,000 people. Only 3,000 are distributors. 37,000 of them are just people who love using the bands. So, but if you love to share stuff, there's a great
opportunity is there.
Yeah. That's how I got forward. This is how I got to Los Angeles Lakers, because somebody shared it with somebody whose brother is part of the athletic training team. And then we got the Kansas City Chiefs. And then, we got Mark Wahlberg. That's all because of sharing.
It's networking. Talk about it. That's what this show eventually does. It may not hit today, but in a few weeks or months that the downloads happen, it'll unfold. That's the beauty of today's technology, even though you're not the programmer, but we do use the technology. So the B3 bands, folks, like I said, and Dr. Mike is saying, there's the large ones that go around the upper thigh. Now, that's something I have a question about, because I don't put it right up underneath like the top of my thigh near my torso. It's a little lower and it's not wide enough actually to go as high as I want. And I get it to a comfortable place. Is there like a range that I'm safe in? Like if the thigh, if this is the torso and my thigh is like this, is it okay to have it just a little below, like
get it as high as you
high
can.
as I can without it opening up? Yeah.
And look, everybody on the call, we're going to send you the starter videos. I do 2 calls every week. You're going to get invited to them. These 7 ladies that were on here today, they all had different questions. We got all their questions answered. They're all rolling. It'll take you 2 or 3 times. Dr. Linda will tell you, once you dial them in, you'll be set. You'll have your easy, efficient biohack workout for the rest of your life.
And there's no excuse. I mean, if you're having a really hard time going from the bedroom to the den or the living room or your basement or your backyard, yeah, we can work through that. It's like with me, when I get lazy or I'm procrastinating or I'm too busy, I see them because they're out and then they start calling me. It's like, okay, just do it. And then it's like, oh, do I really have to? And then I get into it. It's like, God, it's 10 minutes already. And then I want to do more and I'll go up on my calves a little bit more, or I will start to feel like I can go more. But then it also says no more than 20 minutes. So if I'm on a walk or if I'm working out, what happens if I overdo it? Does it stop working, or is it just that you guys in research and science have found that the peak is at 20 minutes to give the body a rest? What happens at around 15,
Well,
20?
the peak for us is really around 6 to 8, 10 minutes, right? Because we're a little older. And when we overtrain, once we're past 35, we produce cortisol and we crash our thyroid and we actually hold on to fat and catabolize muscle. So we have a lot of women, especially in their middle ages, they overtrain. They become endurance athletes and they get hypothyroidism. And they go to their doctor and their doctor says, you got osteoporosis early out. And they're like, what? You're overtraining, right? If you train the body too hard, it'll release cortisol and that'll stop all the growth hormone. It'll stop all the nitric oxide. So you want short, efficient workouts. The number one thing I have to do in this company is tell people, exercise less. I can't remember when I told somebody to do more. I always tell people, I'm doing 15, 18 minutes, Dr. Mike, and I'm hurt. Yeah, me too. I mean, you'd look at me and say, oh, that dude could go for an hour. No. 15 minutes is my max. I go longer, I start hurting. I'm tired. I'm stiff. I got arthritis. My sweet spot is like 12, 14 minutes.
I'm going to start testing that.
Yeah, I will. I back a lot of women down to 6 to 8 minutes. Get in the bands and get the burn. Let
me ask you a question. So if I decrease my time, and I have a lot of cortisol that for the life of me, and then you've heard this, especially the middle-aged women and seniors, it's hard to break that fat no matter what I eat, don't eat, how many calories I don't. I just sit there. I have been to every nutritionist. I've taken every product and I work out and then it stays. I'm stuck. But that's the cortisol. So maybe if I do limit to maybe 10 minutes on the bands, maybe my metabolism will start to change and the cortisol will break. The cortisol might break up.
Well,
maybe
you just won't release cortisol.
So I can add to it.
Right. Number one, get in the burn in 30 seconds. And when you feel it, step on the gas and drive the burn. Try and stay in it 3, 4, 5 minutes, right? Walk up a hill, walk up some stairs. You produce 3 to 4 minutes of burn and you do it in a 6 to 8 minute window and you get the bands off, it'll be all anabolic. What does that mean? It'll be all growth hormone, all nitric oxide, and very little cortisol.
And you feel it all day long.
Your body will start building muscle and burning fat like you're 20 years old. But if you train too hard and if you don't get enough burn and you overtrain, which can be 8, 10 minutes for some people, and produce cortisol, you won't lose it. You won't lose an hour.
Defeating the whole purpose. Defeating the whole purpose. I see it. So I'm going to try a 10-minute walk and pump it up, but I'm going to find my set point. I got to find what works for me, like everybody does. But I know I have too much cortisol, and I'm trying to release it. And I do have a lot of stress in my job and what I do. I was on a show last night from midnight to 2 a.m. all over the country and Canada. And I had about 175 phone calls come in and emails. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me just to clean up from that, which is great. And I always promote the opportunities of the bands or certain nutritional products or whatnot. I'm sorry, I missed that last comment. Can I see that again?
She asked what stops the growth hormone.
Oh, okay.
So
can you answer?
You're going to get growth hormone, but if your body is releasing cortisol will take over, will basically trump the growth hormone because your body is stressed, and it'll go into anti-inflammation of the joints, right? It'll preserve fat. It'll literally slow down your thyroid. So what you want to do is you want to get exercise that's quick and efficient, that gets the burn. So when you get this growth hormone release, cortisol is not in your body running around trying to deal with pain and inflammation. If that's not there, now the body, here's what the body does. Growth hormone, and you get a matching thyroid stimulating hormone. Ladies, pay attention to what I'm doing here. Thyroid stimulating hormone is what tells the thyroid what to do. It doesn't act by itself.
So by exercising with the bands, we're stimulating the HGH, the human growth hormone, and all of a sudden the brain's saying, oh, we're getting enough. Let's now go back to the thyroid gland and pump it up. So then my cortisol around the tummy is going to start to break up because I'm doing this. It's like telling it what to do and helping it along with the bands, which I don't get if I don't use the bands. That's the beauty, folks. If you use these bands, I know it sounds stupid. It looks weird. You're sitting there for 40 minutes with the bands on. It's not hurting you with the bands as a demonstration, but and they may not be as tight as you would have them on if you were training. But it's the sample, people. And again, as Dr. Mike was showing, there's a little pump that comes with this, and it looks like this. It's air, and it can show the different PSIs as to how much air you're putting into your band. Here's the one for the legs, the thighs again. And yes, no matter how large your body may be, there is a size or a set for each and every one of you. You will not be able to fit in something or have it go around your thigh. And then as time goes on, your thighs will shrink as the arms will tighten because you're losing weight, you're building muscle. Muscle weighs more than fat, and your body starts to change. So they are very easy to use. Mickey, why don't you, if anybody's interested in going to my website, it's Dr. Salvin. You can look on the chat. It's all there. Dr. Salvin, B3Sciences.com. That's my site. That's the affiliate site for the B3 products. So, or if you have questions, just email me and I'll help you privately. I had a question and it just left my mind. Now, nutrition, and I know that you offer different products as well to help stimulate, whether it's the protein powders, or you've got appetite suppressants. You've got different products that I also sell or offer through different portals and websites. But the one thing I like about yours is that they're probably more pure. I don't like whey. I can't digest whey. And do all of your proteins have whey, or some don't have whey, right?
No, our protein price is vegetable, pea and rice protein, no whey.
So explain that, because I can't digest whey products. So every time I see it, I get clogged up and chalky. But everybody buys it. They sell it.
You're not meant to. Milk, cheese. The byproduct of cheese metabolism is the clear liquid that comes off at the bottom. They used to throw it away. It's called whey. Now they capture it and they use it and they put it in your human body. It's supposed to be thrown away. You absorb about 20% of it.
Oh, it makes me feel awful.
Where's the other 80%? Where's the other 80% go, everyone? That's why you get acne.
The acne is trying to get out of your skin. Problem. The impurities.
That's why you have bloating and digestion. Their body's got to get rid of that 80%. It's just. And it doesn't matter how they spin it, grass-fed, dye. I mean,
that's all BS. It's still whey. It's still whey. WHEY, people. When you see that on a canister of something or one of the ingredients, personally, I'd stay away from it. I don't like it. But when you use pea protein, how does that work? Because it digests. It's almost clear. It's easy to
it's vegetable
swallow.
Protein, right? You can get egg white protein. You can get bone broth protein. You can get vegetable. my product is vegetable, but I also have 2 other proteins. I drink mine once a day, and I use the other ones, which are a combination of the different, egg white, bone broth, natural
It's a whole
food.
system.
Yeah, natural proteins that already occur that we would go ahead and we would eat pea protein. This makes sense. We'd eat rice protein. We'd eat egg white protein, right? So you want to eat the kind of proteins and see the kind of proteins you would eat in your meal shakes, right? Nobody is going to drink whey off the bottom of cheese.
No. Oh, God. Let me ask you a question. As a younger person, a younger boy and a man, when you were developing and coming into your own, did you ever have a food or weight problem? Were you always more or less on the slender side, or did
I was always skinny. I've always been challenged, right, with keeping muscle on. At 52, I had a little belly and I had little pencil arms. That's just as bad, ladies. If you think you look in the mirror and a guy loses a 6-pack and he's got no guns and he's got his sleeves down here because he doesn't want anybody to see his pencil arms, that's no fun either.
See, everybody has an insecurity, but we always think that, no, look, he looks great. He couldn't have a problem in the world. I'm more on the chubby side, have been all my life. I go up and down. But we all struggle with some type of inner conflict. We all, whether we're 300 pounds overweight or 25 pounds underweight. I had an aunt who was always underweight. She was gorgeous, but she couldn't hold on to fat. I mean, she was beautiful, but she would drink milkshakes and high protein and nothing would work to put the weight on. And I was always working to get the weight off. But then you're in between. A skinny person's always going to think, no, I'm too thin. Oh, no, I wish I had your body. I'm like, what? No, I think you're beautiful. We all see each other differently because we all compare. We're all checking each other out at the gym or at the bar, at the restaurant or Macy's, wherever we are. But we don't realize everybody has a thought process and an idea about their own body and what their struggles are to improve. And that's where the B3 bands come in. Dr. Salvin, B3sciences.com is where you can find more information about the B3 bands.
Put that dot in there, Dr. Salvin dot.
Oh, that's true. I can't. Yeah, I forgot about the dot. I'm looking without my glasses. Dr. Salvin dot B3sciences.com. Yeah, you'll find it. Or you can go to lindasalvin.com and click on Integrative Health. It's all linked together. But before we wrap, we've got about 6 more minutes here. The celebrities you work with have their own insecurities about their body and their strength, as well as somebody who's listening today that's never heard of this. So regardless of how new the concept is, like I was taken back when I first started, like, what? I'm not paying that money to get these. Now I don't want to be without them. Like anything else, it takes time. There's a learning curve. And then you got to keep going. You don't just stop and go. Once you get going, you want to keep going. And you start to see results. And like I said, it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
It's going to happen overnight. But like the people, the married couple with the dogs that were they walking every day with the bands? Was it 3 times a week with the bands?
I think 4 or 5 days a week. They just went out and did what they were already doing.
With the bands on. So if I want to go to the market, put the bands on because I'm walking.
Start walking. Yeah. You got a vibration plate. Get on your vibration plate.
I have a vibration plate.
Most people have something home. You got a pool. You have stairs. You play pickleball. You play golf. Put them on. We have a golf program. We have a pickleball program. We have a vibration plate program.
Because it's stimulating the human growth hormone by lowering the oxygen so that you're building more muscle in less time than it takes to do any other exercise without the restraint of the blood flow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, we're saving time and but there's a price to be paid for typical workouts, right? Nobody's ever seen this. When's the last time you saw a 65-year-old Peloton model?
Not there. Yes, you can swim with them. I've never seen a 65-year-old Peloton model. Most of them
they're all 20. We can all do it when we're 25.
Yeah, we were younger, but we didn't have Peloton in those days any more than we had the internet back then. Right. Everything's changed.
Nothing against Peloton. It's an awesome workout. But you could do your Peloton in this, and instead of 45 minutes, you do it 6 or 8 minutes. So,
and you don't have to watch. I got bored. I don't have a Peloton, but I do have a bike, and I would watch Peloton for a while or any of the other online stationary bike routines. And that makes sense that I can do a 10-minute ride as opposed to going the 40-minute ride. Yeah. As long as I'm within 8 to 10 minutes, when I start feeling that burn, then I know, okay, I'm there.
I'm there. Just hang in the burn a little bit. Just get a couple minutes of it. Your whole world will change.
Before we sign off and say goodbye to Dr. Mike, do any of you have any other questions about this product? don't all show up at once. No, I'm kidding. The answers can be found. The questions can be asked. The videos are online on YouTube everywhere under B3 Bands, Dr. Mike DeBoard. You can come to me, but they work. They really do work, and they're easy. They're easy, and it's Velcro, and it doesn't fall off. Sometimes if I on my thigh, they'll pop off right in the middle of a walk. I just bend down and I put it back on, even though I don't have the pump, but it's still full with air. And what I like about it is at the end of the workout, you just depress this little button, and the air comes out, and I put them back in my little case till tomorrow.
Yeah, and they're going to last. We calculated it's going to come out to about 35 or 40 cents a workout. 35 or 40 cents over the next.
As opposed to $300 to $500 or $145 a month or whatever. And half the time you pay the $145 a month, and then you don't go to the gym anyway. So the gyms are making the money, banking on the membership, and the person percentage-wise doesn't always show up. There's that.
But hey, if you love the gym, take them with you. I go to the gym. I like the gym. I go 4 or 5 days a week. But I'm walking in the gym, and when I'm walking out in 15, 20 minutes, the same people are still on the treadmill. And no offense, they all look the same.
They don't change. No, the body doesn't change as much. There's a more significant change. And people, from the other shows I do, and whether it's addiction or food or diet, or if it's nutrition or whatever, it's psychic, metaphysical, whatever show we're working on, that I'll talk about my body and I'll talk about my experience, because I want you to know if it works for me, it's going to work for you. And I'm stubborn and I can procrastinate and I'm up and down, but if it works, I want you to know about it. Dr. Mike, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us today. So you can always find Dr. Mike on his videos. Just go to YouTube and look for the B3 Bands. Come back to my website at lindasalvin.com or drsalvin.b3sciences.com. Or you can call me off there. All the information will be on at the end of the show. Thank you. Stay backstage. We'll be back in a moment. That was Dr. Mike DeBoard, who has brought the B3 Band movement to the United States. And now they're everywhere. And you can make money. You can help other people get into the burn, as he would say, and build your muscle, but you're not going to be tired. Look at this. People everywhere are doing it. You're outside, inside. Here's what the kit looks like. You get different workout bands. You got the B3 bands. You got the water bottle for like a little kit when you're walking outside, like a fanny pack. They give you anything you need. And even if you have a dog, like we're saying, this one married couple is walking the dog, and in 6-8 weeks, the two of them went down 40 pounds just walking their dog. You've all got to walk somewhere. Okay. So for more information, again, Dr. Salvin, SALVIN B3Sciences, plural.com. Check it out. And tomorrow we'll be back with another Recovery Wednesday show with Candy Finnegan. We're talking about the family. And Thursday I have a guest coming on who has had some experiences with my readings and candles and wants to share what's going on in her life. So this week's going to be fun, as usual, with all 3 shows. I'm going to close for now. This is Dr. Linda Salvin saying thank you very much. Have a great day. God bless. Stay safe. And go get your B3 bands. Bye.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed Transformational Tuesday. You can reach Dr. Linda at 888-509-1077 or at lindasalvin.com. Need a breakthrough of your own? Ready for answers or insights nobody else has? Reserve your own one-on-one in-person chat. Dr. Linda isn't just for other people. Dr. Linda gets results for you. And it's easy. Contact details are on screen now. Just click on lindasalvin.com or call toll-free 888-509-1077. That's lindasalvin.com or toll-free at 888-509-1077.